gentlemen, Fourth and Trollers, welcome back to Fourth and Troll Fantasy, the most entertaining fantasy football podcast on the planet. My name is Noah Selby.
And I'm Wes Selby.
And we are coming at you live from a bit of an extended 4th of July weekend. Lots of festivities going on. Gonna be a fun time. Anybody have any plans? Let us know what you're doing for 4th of July. Wes, how's it going?
Oh, I'm great. Things are great. There's not even much to report. It's just life's been good. Feeling happy. Man, I really wish there was some epic thing that happened between now and the last episode, but no, I'm just chilling. Things are good. We're another week closer to kickoff, so I'm excited about that. How are you, Noah?
Dude, we are another week closer. It's very exciting. I'm good. Listen, I had a bit of an exciting day today. We're recording this Monday, and so I had a bit of an exciting day today. My boss allowed us to have the day off today as well as tomorrow, so we got a long 4-day weekend, which is very nice, and I took advantage of that. As I mentioned before, I've taken up a bit of a hobby in golfing.
That's
right.
right.
A super fun time. I'm enjoying it a lot. Went to a super beautiful course today with a buddy of mine. Played pretty terrible most of the time. Had a really good drive, the best one I've ever hit off a tee box before. That was exciting. And then, we're getting to the end of the day. 18th hole, final hole of the course. I was like, you know what? It's feeling good. Let's make this the best one. Let's make this the best one of the day. Short one, little par 3. About 200 yards. So I was like, you know what? Let's take a deep breath. Breathe in the fresh air, the 110 degree air, and went on the tee box. Hit a great swing. Felt really good as soon as I hit it. Felt really good, and I was like, yeah, wow, I think that was a good shot. And my buddy Josh that I was with, as soon as I hit it, it's like, Noah. And I was like, what? I was like, I know it felt good. And then my view of the green was a little obstructed because there was a tree kind of in the way, and the course was the tee box was elevated, and then the green was kind of down here. And I'm like, yeah, it felt really good. I think that's playable. I don't know where it is, which tells you how good of a golfer I am because I think that's playable. I think is essentially how most of the day was going. Hey, that'll play. All right, cool. And he looks at me and he goes, that's on the green. That's on the putting green. And I was like, no. And he was like, yeah. And so then we're driving down to get to the green, and we stopped for a second. Josh he saw a ball he wanted to grab. And a guy goes past us who looks like he does this a lot and goes, nice shot, man. And I was like, I got a nice shot, man, from a stranger. I was like, wow, this must be good. We come around. I see the green. Dude, dropped it 20 feet from the hole. I was like, oh my goodness, this was the best shot I've ever had in my entire life. This is unbelievable.
Wow.
Go up, par 3. So I have a chance to hit the birdie. Go up, nail the birdie. Boom. Just two shots.
Yes.
Dropped in the hole. End of the day. It was awesome. So, anyways, it was a great day today. It was fun. Even though the sun was brutal, and I paid the consequence because I'm lightly crisped. But it was a lot of fun. A lot of good times. A fun little story there for. And listen, guys, golf is awesome. Golf is so cool. We're going to start a fantasy golf podcast at some point, probably. Who knows how this is going to go. But
eventually.
Loving it. So, listen, we got a fun show today, Wes, because we are doing...
Yeah, we do.
...a Fourth and Troll Fantasy Ask Us Anything for 2023. It's going to be a lot of fun. We got fantasy questions. We got life questions. We got fun questions. We're just going to, again, ask us anything. We got a ton of 40-something questions. We're going to do our best to get through as many as we can here in about a 30, 40-minute period. Going to do our best here to answer all the questions you guys asked. But we got a ton of fun stuff to come. First things first, somehow we have a news segment. Wes, Take it away. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we got a little bit to talk about, which for fun, Noah and I were just poking fun at some of the sports articles that are always like, Seattle Seahawks have a chance to sign a Super Bowl champion for less than $15 million. And you click it and it's like a third string linebacker I've never heard of. Like, that's where everyone is at. There's so much clickbait. So we take pride in delivering real news. And here's the first of the real news for this episode today. Devontae Parker of the New England Patriots signed a 3-year contract, which may or may not affect the results of where DeAndre Hopkins goes. We know that he's been linked to New England closely the last several days. Maybe that is a sign that Hopkins is not going there. Maybe that is just something they want. Who knows? Either way, Devontae Parker, believe it or not, signs a 3-year contract with New England. Go on. You have thoughts.
Yeah, no.
I see you shaking your head.
It was just so strange. It was like he didn't really do anything much for them last year. And so they're like, you know what we're going to do? Extend you another 3 years. Because we want
so
you
weird.
at age 33 playing for us. And it was very strange. Listen, Devontae Parker, here's a fun stat I heard. For the last 3 years, Devontae Parker has ranked dead last every single year in separation at the wide receiver position. And here's the thing. That's never been his game. Well, and if you want to look at it, he has such a high contested catch rate that it's like, okay, his game is like he is the guy, he can go up and get it when somebody's on him. But to rank literally dead last of like 130 receivers on average each year, dead last for 3 years in a row, it's like, okay, so apparently they're just like, Mac Jones can kind of get in the area. Go for it, Devontae. Who knows? I've also heard that maybe this kind of this extension and kind of like almost like a restructure almost cleared up some cap space for this upcoming year specifically. So like they added more money to the contract afterwards and stuff like that. So some people are like, maybe they are clearing space for, I don't know. Congratulations, Devontae Parker. You got paid again somehow.
Yes. I mean, personal life, very happy for you. As Miami Dolphins fans, a little piece of us still appreciates that Parker's getting paid. Also, as Dolphins fans, we know his best days are behind him, so it's also just very strange. Anyway, last 2 bit of news here. Just a minor update. We just talked about clickbait and stuff, but this is just kind of the situation of where Dalvin Cook is at right now. Allegedly, he's received multiple offers, and this is according to Ian Rappaport, who also stated that the most likely landing destinations for one Dalvin Cook is either going to be the Miami Dolphins, the Denver Broncos, or the New York Jets. Obviously, he could still end up anywhere else, but right now, those are the 3 teams that seem to be the most likely spots. And to be honest, none of them, for me, feel like a good fantasy option. So this is just not good news in the fantasy world. I don't know how you interpret those landing spots, Noah.
Yeah, it's tough because for the Dolphins, it's like, all right, this is just a crowded room. And if he were to sign there, I think the 2 that would be the main 2 in the rotation would be Dalvin Cook and Devon Achane. I believe those 2 would emerge as the top 2. I know they re-signed Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson Jr. and Savon Ahmed and Myles Gaskin. Like why? Who knows?
So many running backs.
They just brought back the whole room on like minimum deals. If they were to sign him, I do think it would be the 2 of them leading the backfield. But the thing with the Broncos and the Jets is hey, we've got 2 running backs who are both coming back from injury here. And maybe this is something to think about if you're thinking you want to draft Javonte Williams and or Breece Hall. Maybe if these teams are in the running, they are looking at it and going, maybe we need to bring in another guy who's capable of being a lead back. Who knows? I don't know. I'm the Samaje Perine truther in me for this year in fantasy football is really bummed out about this because I am loving me some Samaje. But it's going to be interesting. We're going to have to keep monitoring. Again, just a little update of news, but I wish these big names would figure stuff out. Is what I'm taking away from this.
Be very fun to report. And also, just to tag on to what you said about Samaje Perine, the Brees Hall fanatic in me does not want this to happen for New York. So, Anyway, last bit of news. Just some complicated situation in Tennessee. One of the running backs there in the backfield, Hassan Haskins, was charged with aggravated assault and I also believe strangling. Very disappointing situation. But for those of you that have been paying attention to the rookie that the Titans drafted, Tajay Spears, he is obviously the immediate backup. He was already second on the depth chart, but just keeping that in mind that Tajay is a little bit possibly more value for this season if the Titans still decide to trade away Derrick Henry before the season. We never know. Anyone that's playing Dynasty, that also adds a little bit more value there. Just throwing that out there because it was a strange, difficult situation. But that's it. That's it for the news. Let's answer some questions, huh? How does that sound, buddy?
It sounds fantastic. It was refreshing to hear you say, that's it for the news. So we haven't heard that in a while. So we just haven't had it. But it was
get like
a
one
nice
bit of
little
news,
thing to hear. Yeah, it felt like it completed a symphony or something like that. Listen, Fourth and Troll Fantasy, ask us anything. We reached out to you guys on social media, said, hey, what do you want to know? Let us know. We'll answer it for you on the podcast. And here we are. We're going to jump into it. We're going to answer as many as we can here in this given time frame. If we don't get to your questions, we're so sorry. Maybe we'll do another one. Maybe we'll do a part 2 if you guys like this. We'll let you know what we're thinking here. But the first one here seems fitting, and it is, why are you guys the best fantasy football podcast ever? And man,
wow,
music to my ears. Such a beautiful thing to hear. Thank you so much. We love hearing that. That's so kind of you guys to say. I don't know. I don't know if there's an answer. I think we just this started with like 4 years of Wes and I just being like, hey, we should do a podcast because we talk about this so much.
And we're good at it.
And then it just didn't happen. And then finally last year we were like, hey, want to do it? And then we were like, yeah, it's a brilliant idea. Let's finally do it. And so we started doing it. And we're 47 episodes in. And this is awesome. We're loving doing this. Loving the off season with 1 episode a week. We love doing in-season episodes, 2 episodes a week, getting to talk live stats and stuff like that. But I don't know. I feel like it's a family thing, you know?
That's a great way to, that's a great segue, because I was gonna talk about, like, it's also just like you and me, man. Like, just 2 cousins talking about fantasy football, and we love it, and we love each other, and we enjoy that people want to just hang out with us, and we also want to do the best we can to give people great information, statistics to help people. And so we got people like Jared, who are going to play their first season because of us, and they're going to listen to exclusively Fourth and Troll advice. So why are we the best fantasy football podcast ever? Because we're entertaining, and we love each other, and we love you. That's my answer.
It's a perfect answer. Perfect answer for a fantastic question to start us off. Next question here is, who is the most deserving eligible player not in the Hall of Fame yet? Got a thinker on this one, because, man, I mean, I think a lot of people... Well, I think the answer would have been very easy for me had things not happened this past year. Because it was a crime how long Zach Thomas was eligible to be in the Hall of Fame. Yeah. He was not. But luckily and thankfully, finally, he was inducted this past offseason. Man, maybe...
I'm trying to even think of...
Maybe I'll say, and here's the funny... It's funny because I've talked on the opposite side of this argument before. But I'll say Devin Hester. And while he's been eligible for a couple years now and has not gotten in yet, people have been really upset about it. And I get it. He is the best return man to ever play the game. But a return man is not a position in football. He was a wide receiver. And so when you look at his wide receiver stats, it was nothing very special. But I'll acknowledge that he is the golden standard for a return specialist in the game. And so I'm willing to say Devin Hester at this point, now that he's been eligible a couple of years. I think, yeah, he should definitely be in for sure. I don't know if you have an answer, Wes.
I wish I had a more historic answer. That made me feel very cool if I said someone like, Tommy Sprinklebottom, who played, left kicker in 1937. Dude. That'd be. But I'm just looking at the ballot, and I need to double check if Hines Ward is in the Hall of Fame because I don't believe so. And he is the greatest blocking wide receiver.
That's very true
in history, and also
that's very true.
2-time Super Bowl champion. It doesn't look like he's in the Hall of Fame, so that's my answer. Hines Ward.
Great
Put
answer.
him in.
That
Fantastic player.
Very, very good. Next question here: why is Bill Belichick so grumpy?
Well, he used to wear, it's like Citizen Kane. Like he had a rosebud, and he used to wear sleeves growing up. Like he just loved wearing sleeves with hoodies, and then he made a deal with the devil. And he said, I'll make you one of the greatest coaches, if not the greatest coach ever, but I got to take your sleeves from you. And so every win is a painful reminder of the sleeves he can never wear.
Right. Yeah. And
yeah.
His arms are cold. There it is. I'd be
great addition.
I'd be grumpy. My arms are cold too. There you go.
I'd be grumpy and cranky and angry.
Are you kidding me? Next question here, and this is a really good one. I like this one because, we'll see in a second here. Were there other names you almost used for the podcast? And there was one that we were pretty dead set on, and we loved, and we asked people for feedback, and they were like, "No, I don't like it. It's not very good." And we were like, wow, we thought this was so good. So the name we initially had was Too Much Fantasy. Too Much Fantasy. Fantasy football, or Too Much Fantasy Football, or something like that. It was something along those lines. And we both were stoked on it. We were like, this is brilliant. This is so smart. And it emerged because Wes just pointed out, it's like, dude, we just talked too much fantasy. Like, and
we had a tagline, which
I forgot it. I literally just thought about it. Go for it. Yeah,
we had a tagline, which was, we have a problem, so we made it a podcast. It was too much fantasy football.
We thought it was so smart. We were like, this is the best thing ever. And then we got feedback, and it was just like, yeah, we think that can be we think that should be something different. And we agonized over that for like a week. We were like, dude, I don't know what to name the podcast. Like, we could not figure out a name.
Your other brother pointed out that someone else had an Instagram and had started another fantasy football with the same name or very similar name. And so we were forced to listen to people's opinion. Ugh.
Yeah. And then eventually, I think Wes was in the stall at work, and he just texted me.
I was taking a dump.
Do you have it pulled up?
I've got the texts
right my gosh.
Now. I don't know how well you can see this.
So,
is it focusing?
I can't see it at all. No, read it off. Go for it.
But maybe if you were able to read it, but it came down to 3 ideas because Noah and I were very set on like, oh, well, there's something about fantasy, which is an interesting idea because everything else is more about football. What if we incorporate some kind of fantasy idea? So one of them was all or nothing fantasy football. Mm-hmm. Centaurs and touchdowns.
Dude, I forgot about that.
And then 4th and Troll.
Yeah.
And the rest of the texts are like, gosh, 4th and Troll, man. 4th and Troll. Wow, it's so good. Wow, that's really good.
Yeah.
And then immediately
it stemmed. It stemmed from this. We wanted to include like this comedic aspect. Most entertaining fantasy football podcast on the planet. We want to be comedic and fun as well as informative. And so we had this idea for this. What if the podcast had a mascot? his mascot was like this mythological creature. And we were trying to figure it out, and eventually we're like, what if it's just this like derpy troll? Like this is just this guy just like run. Do you have the initial
you keep
sketch?
talking. I don't know if it's nearby.
Incredible.
That would be
I
awesome.
would be amazed if it is. Yeah, no. So we got this what if this is a troll? And we're, oh my goodness. And so and so that's when Fourth and Troll, yeah, and there it was. Yeah, that is the initial sketch
Wow.
of Putty the Troll. And you can see on the helmet.
Oh
the
yeah, it said TMF.
because Too Much Fantasy. Yeah, that is awesome. That's
Wow.
so cool. Listen, if
Oh,
you're
that's right.
if
We had the
if
mascot.
If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, jump over to YouTube and check out the origin of Tutty the Troll, because
Wow.
my goodness, it was just so awesome, so cool. So Too Much Fantasy was initially the name for the podcast. We landed at Fourth and Troll, and we love it, and we are
Wow.
just
We love it. I forgot
yeah.
it was Tutty and then the name.
Yeah, no. So that's
What a
awesome. That's a
great
fantastic
question.
The next one we got here: who's the most overrated quarterback currently and all time?
Wow. Of all, I feel like it's easier for me to answer all time
Yeah,
than it is to say currently. For me, I mean, it's controversial. This is such a hot question to ask. So you get a hot take, but I don't know. I feel like Brett Favre is a little overrated because
100%.
all he did was, I mean, it was Madden. He played like we play Madden, which is just the deep route and just going. And like I get like the game after, his father passed away is insane.
Yeah,
But like, and he's a Super Bowl champion, but like, gosh, it was I mean, leads the most interceptions all time is
yeah.
ridiculous. So
Yeah.
that's my answer.
I agree with that. I'll go currently, and I think, well, man, that's tough because there's a lot of there's a lot of options. I don't know. I think it might be recency bias, but I'm gonna go Daniel Jones. I think he had no business receiving the contract that he did this offseason. I think he is, as far as the fantasy football aspect goes, because this is a fantasy football podcast. I think we just saw his best fantasy finish of his entire career. Like no joke. Like it was, as we already talked about on this podcast a couple times before. He's not running for 700 yards again. Like that's not happening. So, bummer. Sorry. Like that's that. Like that was such a big piece of his fantasy output. I believe, and I could be messing up the stats here a little bit, but I believe before this past season he had never finished better than like quarterback 21 or something like that. Like it was like one good season is not going to do that for me. So I think I'll go Daniel Jones there. That might be, I don't know. That might be a little bit of a cop out, but
I wonder
knows?
who is actually considering Daniel Jones like underrated. That's an interesting idea. But
who thinks he's an underrated player?
yeah, because like for me it was
Yeah.
like, yeah. But I wonder if anyone's like, no, Daniel Jones is like way better than people realize. I don't know.
No,
Maybe not.
Maybe like Kim Kardashian's thinking that. I don't know.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe
Good
we
point.
should listen. Actually, I think she's talked about it. She tweeted about it. I don't know. I ran out of Twitter.
We keep
Twitter,
ignoring her DMs.
Yeah, I ran out of Twitter
Golly.
views. Now that that's a thing.
Most of these are her questions.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Thanks for sending them in, Kim.
Thanks, Kim. Okay.
Next one. What name would you have given the Washington football team if you were renaming them? Can't like not obviously they're the Commanders, so we can't pick that. But I liked I think an option they had was the Red Wings.
Red
something
Wings or
like
Red
that.
Tails?
Red Tails, that's what it was.
Dude, absolutely.
I really liked that.
That's
I thought that was
so
super
cool.
Keep the R and even the red, so that hail to the Red Tails, HGTR was a big thing their fan base does and stuff like that. So I thought the Red Tails would have been sick. Unfortunately, they just decided to go with another name for a airplane pilot. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. That's totally my answer to the Red Tails.
Red Tails. Yeah, Red Tails is my
Fantastic.
answer as well. Next one. Which NFL team logo needs a refresh?
Can we say the Commanders again?
Oh, or the Commanders. Yeah, no. Well, the Browns are just a color, so that's fun.
And it's not even
And
brown.
It's not even brown. Yeah, exactly. It's not even brown. So
should have been
they
the
should figure that out.
Paul orange. Yeah, probably
Nice.
Browns. If I could think about every single NFL team, I mean, the Cowboys is a really simple logo as well, but like
Yeah.
it makes sense still with Texas and the Lone Star. I think about the Jets too. Jets,
Yeah.
Giants. It's pretty simple. Yeah, but I'll. You say Browns, I say the Commanders because of the W. I don't like that.
Yeah, also
I like the
also say
W.
go back to the old Dolphins logo too, because that one was so much better.
We should defresh, go back in time. I like that.
defresh, go back. Yeah. This is a fun one. Jumping back into some fantasy questions here. Who is not currently getting drafted in the first round of fantasy drafts that will be next year?
Great question.
That's a fantastic question. I think that's tough. Actually, I've got an answer. Do you?
Go ahead. I'll think of it by the time you answer.
Okay. It's Jahmyr Gibbs. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is going to put on a show in his rookie year. And even though we are seeing more wide receivers taken in the first round than ever before, I think Jahmyr Gibbs is gonna sneak his way in. I think we're gonna see him and his PPR value go nuclear. And I think Gibbs will be I think Gibbs could have a chance to go in the first round next year. I think he's currently going in the fourth round and he hasn't played a snap in the NFL. Like, yeah, I think that jump could be taken for sure.
That's a fantastic answer. I was tempted to the first player that came to mind was Garrett Wilson, but I don't know if it's going to be like actually top 10 overall. That seems really tough. So just looking at some of the ADP right now, I think there's a chance that AJ Brown might just
It baffles me that he's not.
Yeah, he might just be that much of a boss that people are like, "Oh, we're so sorry that we disrespect you even the slightest."
Does he go before or after Devontae Adams right now?
After.
Yeah, that's absurd. Yeah, no. Put him.
It's crazy.
Crazy. And does Adams go at the end of the first?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. I think AJ Brown is a great option to pop into that first round for sure. I think we've seen it, and I think we're going to see the decline of Adams starting this year. So, yeah, AJ Brown and Jahmyr Gibbs, watch out for them. I think they'll pop in that first round for sure. Next question here: when/how did your love for fantasy football start? That's a loaded question. For me, I just think your dad, my uncle, one year was like, "Hey, you like football? Do you want to play fantasy?" And I was like, "What's that?" And it was like, "Okay, yeah, sure." And then I did it, and ever since then, it's been every single year. It's everything. We eat, sleep, and breathe it. It is everything. Yeah. So that's for me. That's kind of how that started, and drafting Matt Ryan probably in the first round. I don't know.
Yeah, I remember I drafted Aaron Rodgers first overall because that's what you did. You drafted quarterbacks because they got the most points, so it just made sense then. It's similar as well with playing with Noah and other people in this league that we've been part of for over 10 years now. And I think when it changed for me is I ended up in the championship and I got second place because of some, collusion, just to give an idea. Light collusion. And it frustrated me so much, obviously, but I saw that I had done well, and I understood why I did well, and then like I just went on this revenge tour and just got in the championship like 2 straight years in a row, and I was like, I know how to play this, and I really like
Yeah.
it. And then it really kind of shifted when I in my work league, when I was in my first league with for money, where we had a buy-in, and I won, and I was like, oh, I actually am good at this. How
Yeah.
about that? So that's where it started for me, is cheating.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it is. Anyone who plays fantasy will know that as soon as you start, can't stop. It's so fun. It's so fun to do. So, that's a great question. Next question: what's one piece of advice you would give for someone playing their first season of fantasy? Don't draft Matt Ryan in the first round.
Yeah, that's a good
probably
idea. Not
Good
even really
advice.
on a team.
Yeah, no, it's. I think I would say, one, listen to Fourth and Troll Fantasy, because that's going to be your best way to grow and
That's the
learn.
best advice. Yep.
But also, I don't know, Wes. Do you have one off the top of your head?
Yeah, from what I learned and what I have learned and what I also tell people playing the first time is take the obvious player in the draft. Just take the next best player and fill up your roster, and let that be your learning season, because you'll have good players if you almost not exactly like auto pick. Like, I'm sure people that have this question, they probably know generally a good idea of the players in the NFL. Maybe they don't. Take the obvious players and learn how the league works, learn how trading works, understand what it means to push for playoffs, pick up players off the waiver wire, and then the second season is when you really begin your strategy, because I think that first year is where you take it in, let it happen, see where it goes, and then year 2, get ready to lose. You never win second season, and then year 3 on, you're ready to actually like compete.
Ready for domination. Yeah, I think that's fantastic advice, and I think if I had to give one, I would say learn your league. Essentially, learn your feel out your league mates, kind of understand their kind of tendencies, and this will come with time, but. For the home league, West, that you and I play in, or I'll call it the home league or whatever it is, the main league that you and I play in together for redraft. I know a handful of these guys don't do much of their research, and that's not like a dig. That's just they listen to the podcast, but they also, we have quotes from our league mates. It's like, no, I don't really do mock drafts. I just wing it. And it's like, oh, okay, so quarterbacks may be going early here, and so it's just stuff to remember and stuff like that. So learn your league is something that I would say for sure. Next question: any plans to go to any games this season? We do have plans.
Yeah, we do.
Last season we went to Dolphins Chargers at SoFi. We're not going to talk about that. This year we're going to season opener. Dolphins Chargers at SoFi, baby. We're back.
Let's go,
SoFi
baby. We're gonna talk about that.
It's gonna be a fun time. We're excited for that for sure. Different outcome this time. Different outcome for sure.
1-0 for the Dolphins.
Fins up. Let's go. When is the ideal date to draft each year? I prefer. I'm actually glad the NFL gave like a preseason bye week, because I prefer essentially around that time, after the 3 preseason games have been played, before the regular season starts. It's usually around the end of August is when that usually happens. So that's my preferred time. I think you'd agree.
I agree. As close to week 1 as possible.
Draft the night of the Super Bowl is essentially what we're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good one. We'll jump around here. Who is your favorite one-hit wonder fantasy football player in history? So maybe one game, one season. Who would that be? I think I've got an answer for
one hit wonder. Man, Go ahead, because you already have your answer. I'm going to think about everybody.
My answer would be single game starter New England Patriots running back Jonas Gray. I don't know if you recall this game he had.
No.
This random guy. We had no clue who he was. It was beginnings of us playing fantasy. And for some reason, the Patriots, maybe it was injuries, something, this guy was starting on primetime football against the Colts. And I'll pull up the stat line because we all were like, what is this guy doing? Like, what is this? This is so strange. It was his 4th career game, and he rushed for 199 yards and a franchise record 4 touchdowns.
Holy crap.
And he helped lead them to a victory over the Indianapolis Colts, 42-20. So 199 yards and 4 touchdowns. I'm going to pull up Jonas Gray's career stats now, just to give some perspective on this. Jonas Gray's career stats were 588 rushing yards and 5 touchdowns. So outside of that,
wow,
he truly was just this random guy. We had no clue what was going on.
You had ridiculous memory.
On one night, it was 2014 against the Indianapolis Colts. He had his opportunity, and he went out there. Oh my goodness, he carried the football 37 times in this game for 199 yards and 4 touchdowns. Jonas Gray, there's my answer right there.
Wow. That's amazing. I'll say for the season, Peyton Hillis.
Oh, dude, it got him on the Madden cover. Like, what?
We got him on the
It was
Madden cover because
ridiculous.
of how good he was that one year, and then nothing.
What were his stats that year?
You to find out. And then we got so many questions to run through. So
yeah, I'm gonna do a little search here. Peyton Hillis, his career season, for the Cleveland Browns. What year was it? Dude, this is like nothing compared to like what some other players have been doing in the league recently. Like 1,200 yards and 11 touchdowns.
11 touchdowns
that is a lot, actually. And in 2010, that was pretty unbelievable.
But 1,200 yards is...
Man.
It would have been like 11th.
Yeah, wow.
That's funny.
Yeah, my goodness.
Wow.
Let's jump in here. We'll do a couple more. Let's see here. Got a lot of good ones here. Here's one for our F1 fans who are also Fourth and Troll Fantasy fans as well, fantasy and listeners.
Fantastic.
For Formula One, which F1 driver would be the best NFL player, and which NFL player would be the best F1 driver? Tom Brady would be the best F1 driver, in my opinion. Analytical, the GOAT.
All right.
I feel like he would be able to figure it out. As far as drivers who would be the best in the NFL, I'm going to say Yuki Tsunoda. Because
awesome.
Because are you Googling F1 drivers right now?
I'm Googling drivers because I don't know anyone.
That's okay. That's a bit of a niche question here for the
Oh
podcast.
my gosh.
There you go. Tom Brady and Yuki Tsunoda. We'll
can't even
that
answer
one there.
the question.
No, you're good. Let's do this. Let's finish it out. We had a handful of over-under questions. So, we'll go through these real quick, and then we'll close out the show. First one here. Over or under 6.5 wins for the Bucs this year with Baker Mayfield.
I say over. I say over.
I think I say over as well, and I think a lot of people might say under, but I'm remembering that six games is going to be in that garbage division.
Exactly.
And those games are wide open. and especially in a division
Yep.
like that, anyone could win those games. I'm a
Playing
notorious
against-
Baker Mayfield hater, but I will say they'll get. I think they get at least 7 wins this year.
Rookie quarterback against that Bucks defense with the Panthers, and then first year started with Desmond Ridder against that Bucks defense as well, plus Derek Carr and his hit and miss games. I mean,
they're the scariest
three-
ones to challenge.
yeah, I guarantee that they win 3 wins, or they get 3 wins from just their division alone. They can win 3 or 4 more games somewhere in that season. So over 6.5.
They still have Rashad White. They still have Chris Godwin. They still have Mike Evans. You know, I think we'll go over on that one. Next one is an interesting one here. Over under 8.5 total touchdowns for Kenneth Walker III this season.
Under.
Do you say under? I gotta think about it. I think total touchdowns. So he doesn't catch the football. He is smaller than Zach Charbonnet. But he's got that explosive play opportunity. It'd be hard for me to see him not get 4 or 5 long touchdowns, like 20, 30 plus yard breakaway touchdowns this season. But do I think... I don't think he gets some of the goal line work. I don't know. That's tough. I'm probably going to say under on that.
I'm so angry.
Me too. It's hard. I think it's under. I think an 8 touchdown season for Kenneth Walker III this year would be awesome. So we'll see.
You mean to tell me he's going to have almost as many touchdowns as Peyton Hillis had in a season? No way.
Dude, guys, take it easy. Take it easy. Take it easy.
No way, dude.
Nice. Yeah, good one. Okay, over under 35.5 receptions for Travis Etienne this season. Now, they brought in Tank Bigsby. And I think if I'm remembering correct, there were reports saying they wanted to take a little bit of work away from Travis Etienne to preserve his spryness and his ability to, be shifty and stuff like that and not do as much. 35.5 receptions. I don't know what he did. I don't remember what he did last year.
As you look that up, I'll say that's a really good number. That's probably where it will lie. But I think it will be under, but very close, just because of the Calvin Ridley, Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram, Brenton Strange.
Sure, bolstered the offense, yeah.
Yeah, I think Zay Jones might still be there. I mean, just the options that he has, it's going to be difficult for a running back, even Travis Etienne, to have 35 receptions. But I think he'll definitely make the most of it when he gets the ball.
Yeah.
So it's not a concern for PPR value in fantasy. I just don't think he's going to end up with 40 receptions.
Yeah, I think so. Last year he was at 35, and I think if they're going to take away some work, I think he probably goes under on that. So I'll take the under on that one. Yeah, this is a fun one. Over under 3,000 receiving yards between Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Smash the over on that. That is way over. Listen, you're telling me Tyreek wants to break the receiving yards record, and you don't think Jalen Waddle will get at least 1,000 yards? Come on, no. This is going over for sure.
Yeah,
I think,
absolutely.
We're going way
to
over
the moon,
on that.
baby.
To the moon. Last one here. Over under RB. So this is a wordy one. Over under RB 4.5 finish for Bijan Robinson in half PPR formats this year. So is he going to finish over as RB
will be
5,
4 or better,
or 4? Sorry, yeah, 4 or
worse.
better, 4 or better, or 4 or better for the over, 5 or worse for the under. It's over. 4.
It's over.
He's finishing the top 4.
He's finished, especially in half PPR, because all he's going to do is carry the ball. I mean, you take Austin Eckler, Christian McCaffrey,
get full points. This is
so they're the only ones that have PPR value in the running back position. Everyone else is it's not even going to be close.
Yeah,
Bijan is going to be top 3 for sure.
Yeah,
in half PPR,
100%, 1,000%. That is happening for sure. Last one here, Wes. not an over-under, just a fun one.
Yep.
This question's been going around on social media lately. In an emergency situation, do you think you could land a commercial airplane with only radio help from the air traffic control tower?
There's majority of me wants to say yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think what concerns me the most is actually touching the tarmac. I think I could with help and control, I could keep the plane in flight. But then actually, because I feel like it would just be this flight of like this descend and then whoa,
Yeah.
whoa, and then I just like, accidentally hit too hard and everything just like breaks apart and there's explosions. Yeah. That's where I would get worried. But I think it's a 60% chance I do land it, and so I say yes for that reason.
No, yeah, 100%. I'm with you. I think. Hey, listen, if someone's talking me through it all and they're telling me what buttons to press and all that sort of stuff, dude, 100%. Will the landing be smooth?
100.
Probably not. No, it probably won't be smooth. Will there be any casualties? No. Everybody's getting off that plane. For sure. Sure. Listen, we answer only the most important questions here on Fourth Control Fantasy, and that's thanks to you guys. Wes, I've had a ton of fun. Have you had a ton of fun?
I've had a lot of fun. We have so many other questions we want to answer, so please let us know if you want to do part 2, because this was a blast.
Yeah, if you guys want another one, let us know. That is, however, going to do it for this episode of Fourth Control Fantasy. What do you think? Who's going to be a first-round talent next year? Let us know in the comments below. Follow us on all of our social media. Make Teddy the Troll smile by hitting that subscribe button. Ring that bell. And be sure to check us out next week. Join us next Tuesday. I'm Noah Selby.
And I'm Wes Selby.
And this has been Fourth Control Fantasy.